All right. So this is a very like
Right.
first conversation regarding the study of from the basic to graduate mathematics. So for today, this is sort of the orientation, even though I already explained the big structure, but I was thinking the way to study in the regular basis for the participants, independent to their own like the background. So let me first try to explain how I first wanna proceed the way of the study, and if you to have any like opinions or suggestions, it's definitely okay with me. So basically, this content is, as I already said, is the like the from the very like the basic to the graduate like the mathematics. And in order to like the study the each of the topic, so I need to first like listen your like the mathematical like the understanding in a way that even you might want to claim that you understand some topics very well. I time to time might against it, and you kind of want to also dig something in detail. Also, I might also against it time to time, depending on the like the conversation and your like the direction of the study and so on. So what I basically want to do here is that after we have a conversation, then I'd like to distribute each of the note to each individual in a way that then each of the participants should study the note with some at
Yes.
least some specify like the question that I want you
Yes.
to work on. Or if you
Mm-hmm.
agree with it, then I expect each participant should bring some like the homework in like
Mm-hmm.
the next week, and then we can
Mm-hmm.
get some feedback, and then I can distribute another note in that sense so that each of we can study in some proper way. That's my kind of my like the suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you two already explain your like the mathematical like the background, but today I'd like to just make the output in a way that, and also the like a potential participant will see this like the recorded video, and they can kind of convince themselves that independent their like their background, they can just join, and then they can try to make some conversation, and they will get some note, and then they can study by themselves. And of course, so each participant can study in this the in this like this time. So it really just depends on the situation. I really do not know who will eventually really join and study in the like the long run. So yeah, first let's just get some introduction for each of you. So probably Andy can start, and then Ujang, so you can go back.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, hello. Sorry. Let me get started.
Hi, Andy.
Hello. I'm Andy. I'm a math and CS double major. My school is a little bit, I guess, different that we run on a quarter-based system so all of the math courses are kind of shallow in a way that like
Yep,
you
yep.
just touch on something and move on. So I like to learn more about mathematics, so that's why I joined. Yeah. Or is there anything else I need to say or?
Yeah, so I definitely also have a experience of the quarter system around the 3 years. So I definitely understand what you really mean, but still you might have some special like the interest regarding some of the topics or some of like your own orientation. So you can just reveal just a bit in a way that I can just consider some special like a direction if possible.
I see. I have taken like single variable and multivariable analysis class at my institution, but I have no background in algebra. So, you know, if there's a chance for me to learn algebra, that would be great too.
Sounds good. Okay, then Woo it would be next for you.
Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. And first of all, I want to say thank you to Dr. Joe for this opportunity. And Andy, nice to see you. And I used to live in Korea, so I immigrated to the US. It's been like 6 years. So in 2019, and I enrolled at Indiana University in 2022 at fall semester. And I'm gonna graduate this coming December. And yeah, but the thing is, likewise, I'm not that confident when it comes to math, but I love math and I want to build my foundation in math because I want to apply to the PhD in math. So likewise, like Andy, I am also double majoring in math and computer science. At first, I wanted to work or study in AI field, but the more I study, I feel like I I sense there's a kind of difference between computer science and math. Of course, yeah, they are different subjects, but in AI, I thought it was kind of like intersection between math and computer science. But the more I study, I feel like I just love math in kind of like in pure math perspective, the more than like a applied math perspective. So but I'm kind of like I'm still kind of on the fence, so I want to apply PhD in math, but I haven't decided yet what specific field. But I'm kind of like into like complex variables or vector calculus. But like I said, but everything's, I mean, up in the air, so I just want to study more, and I'm really looking forward to it. This, yeah, thank you.
Got it. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the introduction. And uh I think I can just now give me some like the further comments about the structure of like this this like the series. So one of my motivation to proceed like this like the English like a session is the PhD program of math department of my own university initiates from this fall. And I am one of the faculty member who are expected to very active on like the guiding the graduate like the students who might be potential like the PhD like the level students in the future, including undergraduate. So one of my like the motivation let me just repeat is because I will post this like a recorded video and the notes in my like the website, so many undergraduate and master level like the student will watch this like the record like the videos, and then they can definitely just consider to join. And I'd like to give them the guidance like without any like the consideration, as long as they'd like to learn like the mathematics, then I'm the one that can just give some guidance for that. And some of them might consider to do the math PhD. Of course, some of them might consider to work under my supervision. But even that's not the case, I really just try to support like the many like the students as much as possible as just one of the just a mathematician. That's my just a nice goal. So here's my nice suggestion for each of you two. So it seems so it's really about just getting the background in mathematics, but in an organized way. So in my opinion, I think the most important like, the topic to learn, first of all, even you might feel already confident on it, is I think linear algebra. So let me
Yes.
first just ask the very like the naive question in a way that you can just be honest in a sense that if it seems like the useful, then I'd like to provide some of the further like the materials that you any of you can study. So is there anyone who can explain the definition of the eigenvector?
Eigenvector. I mean,
You can be wrong,
honestly,
it's fine. Yep, yeah, please go ahead.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I took the linear algebra when I was, I think, a freshman at the second semester, and I'm kind of ashamed of that. I didn't review it thoroughly. You know what I mean? So I didn't. I haven't seen it the linear algebra, yeah, since then. So eigenvalue, eigenvector. Oh, I'm sorry. I need more time. So
It's
think about
absolutely
it.
fine.
Yeah,
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 thanks
yeah,
for like
yeah.
being honest. So, what about you, Andy? Can you explain the definition of the eigenvector?
I mean, our school has a different path for pure major, I mean, pure
Yeah.
math major student and CSC math students. So I took
Hmm.
more applied version of linear algebra, and
Mhm.
what I remember is just AV lambda V, like
Yeah. I mean,
version.
just that definition only, right?
Yeah. So
Uh, so Then I think we can take two like the different like the tracks. So in my opinion, so one of the like the common like the thing for two especially is you to also consider the CS direction as well, even though you two are very big fan of the mathematics for sure. So that as long as there is a like a good overlap, of course, already like the Woo mentioned about the like the some like the application of the AI direction in mathematics. But so the thing is the like the specific like the field of the overlap would be matter. So here is my very like a concrete suggestion. This can be followed for all such a, like the students in a way that let me first share the link and let me share the screen. Yeah, so all those like the four students are incoming freshman college students. So three of them were graduate from high school very recently. So that their mathematical background is like the lower than the background you two already have. But they were able to finish the problem sets if you just click the like the problem sets, then they definitely just was able to do it. So my first like the suggestion is because I'm basically working on complex analysis, geometry, and also as a application. So let me say it clearly: complex analysis, geometry, and probability. And one of the fine like the application of those like the overlap is the quantum computing. So that's my motivation to also look at it as a like the my mathematical research. But it just requires in the computation the reality just a really live level of the linear algebra, just a like the algebra like the of the two by two matrices. So it's very easy to learn as long as you have some focus and some exercise problems. So my one suggestion is so it could be good review for each of you that you can simply
Yes.
just follow the
Yes.
computational problems of especially problem set one. So those two are actually the same. Those are the
Okay.
same. So that of course you can simply just use either ChatGPT or just look at their like the solutions for sure. But this could be good review to get some like a concrete like the intuition before we look at some abstract like the language description. You know what I mean? So that you can first like to look at this part in my opinion. And at the same time, so this is, by the way, just nothing but just a matrix algebra, so that you can just review. So there are some like the
Yes.
concepts, and even those like the high school, like the graduate was able to solve, so that I assume you should be definitely able to do it. Um, Another suggestion is then I think also the language like the training would be necessary in a way that you need to really like start from the foundation of the mathematics from the like the I think the topic would be called in the quarter system is either the foundation of the mathematics or like the elementary set theory. That kind of the like the title is usually just assigned in the university. So it really
Yes.
takes time to really also get those like the foundations. So that I want you to take two different tracks at the same time, depending on your like the amount of energy and time each week. That first like the track is to just solve those linear algebra problems. It might take time, it's fine. But I just wanna just go over the computation by yourself to just get some confidence of the linear algebraic computations in the beginning. And at the same time, I also want you to establish the foundations from indeed the beginning.
Mm.
And I didn't mean that you don't need to watch the like the Korean like a recorded video. I will
Yes.
share the note directly to two of you so that I want you to just study those like the notes by yourself, aiming for solving the exercise problems by yourself.
Mm.
Then what I like to get is depending on your like the time and energy each week, I want you to bring some like the questions that such as like the so you already solved some problems, but some of the part you are not confident of some of the pieces. some of the parts you kind of feel, yeah, this is very confident, and I just want to make sure that I can get this confidence by also by the others. So that kind of thing, I would just want you to bring something as an output from your own study. And you can study each node in the weekly basis, or you can just focus on some of the node in like a few weeks. It's definitely fine with me. So it really just depends on each of the participants. Is that okay with you? But the
Yes.
key concept that you should study here is the concept of the so-called definition of the function, definition of the function, and the generalization of function called the relation. And one of
Yes.
the important relation is called the equivalent relation. This is also
Yes.
super important in CS major as well.
Yes.
So for that, that being said, I'd like to ask one another question. Can anyone tell the definition of the function? You can just
In
try because this is what you need to study.
So like in computer science perspective, like if there's an input, then there's gonna be output. And in mathematically, like just all the domain elements go to some the range in that code domain, and then only the if the x is domain, then f(x) has only one unique value. Just yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, great. What about you, Andy?
I just know the fact that if you have one input, you cannot have two outputs. That violates the definition of function.
Yeah, I'm now very confident that you two start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So it really, like, I think, really necessary. It's not about the matter of the studying either the measure theory, topology,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So the reason that you might feel like it's quite difficult when you look at those like the abstract like the topic is this like the lack of the foundations of the training, in my opinion.
Yes.
So as long as you have
Yes.
this foundation, this abstract topic becomes kind of the very like the later, just in the tricky way, but it's not that difficult, in my opinion. So. All right, then I will distribute three of the notes from the Gidesu series for two of you. I think you two are in the like kind of the same page, but I still want to give you one comment regarding the CS like the measure. So the term of the function is a little bit tricky. So for example, so as you two already described well, so each input determines one output for sure. However, this is just a mathematically justified in a sense that if you look at the CS code, for example, so then for the like the lower level like the computer science like the language. So for example, if you look at the like the C language, for example, and we always have the so-called the main function, and we always take care of the type of the function. That's the so-called the
Yes.
void type. Void type
Yes.
means there's no output, as you know. So it already violates the definition of the function, mathematically speaking. So even we
Yes.
use the same like the term, but the meaning is completely like the different. So the way to
Yes.
apply the mathematical definition is a little bit tricky. So if you later for your like the career like the path, if you wanna apply the heavy like the mathematical abstraction to the CS like the direction, this direction is so-called the category theory. So the category theory is the right way to abstractize the understand the like the beyond the like the graphical structure of the compiler and those like the like the codes and so on. But in order to understand those like the abstraction in a competent way, then you first need to establish the like the elementary set theory. And also in order to understand the linear algebra in mathematical way, then you need to also get some elemental level of understanding of abstract algebra.
Yes.
So here's a one important like the point that let me ask you this. So which feature would be most like the hardest feature for student in your opinion to learn mathematics? So you might feel like a kind of overwhelmed for learning mathematics in a way that well math is just for like the people who are extremely talented, for example, and just for the genius geek. So two of you might be eventually turns out to be just those like such a like a geeks for sure. But I'm just asking you, so which types of the feature is most important to learn major level mathematics, in your opinion? Yeah, so there's no answer, so you can just give your
So I'm sorry, could you repeat the question one more time again?
the most important like the feature of the like the learning mathematics
Mhm. To us or to the
in
student
general,
or
just in general.
in, oh, okay. Just in my opinion, the most important feature of math is interpretation. Oh, like uh getting back to your first question, like, so what's the meaning of eigenvector or eigenvalue? Then we we should say that like not in the just definition, just in my own terms or in my own definition. So this is like eigenvector, and we call this eigenvector because this means something something kind of like that. So yeah, just not memorizing the formula or definition or theorem, I don't think it's the most important feature, but the understanding what's the meaning of that is the most important feature to me. Yes.
I like that like, answer. Yeah, thank you very much for like that like the inspire like the opinion. So
Yes. Yes. So
mhm.
in order to do that, so I wanted to study from the beginning, like from scratch. Like I'm not the kind of person that, oh, my major is math. I'm a math student, so I know that. I don't like that attitude. So I just want to start from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah.
From like linear algebra or from a set theory, whatever that is. Yes.
So truth be told, linear algebra does not mean we start from the scratch. So I will define
Yes,
the scratch
right.
my
Yes.
own way. Linear
Yes. Yeah.
algebra is
Yeah.
not low
Yeah.
level
Yeah.
like the topic at
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell your opinion, Andy.
I guess it kind of goes back to CS, but I guess like persistency is the
Mm,
key to anything. It's just like, I mean, I have tried to self-study, math and CS, and after 3 months, I'm like, oh, I don't want to
mm.
do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's very hard to be persistent. So
Yes.
I guess that's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no like the definite like the answer, but I like both of your like the attitude and also the answers. Uh, I'd like to just explain the structure of the learning mathematics in a little bit like the abstract way, but it kind of makes sense to each of you. So in my opinion, mathematics consists of basically two pieces. One, logic,
Mm,
two, computation.
yes.
So probably, so at some point, so any of the participant of this study will become the professional mathematician, who knows, and like a very like a professional, like the scholar to develop the very like the abstract mathematical theory that should be very useful in
Ooh.
the near future. Who knows? So, and I hope
Yeah.
that happens for some of the individuals here sooner or later. So, however, so
Yes.
in order to develop those like the logic, so you should start from the scratch in a sense
Yes.
that there must be the very concrete examples with the computation. This
Mm,
provides the concrete observation, what was going on behind, and see the direction, which type, which kind of the abstraction we should develop and so on. So you need to really like get the scratch from the very concrete example. So in order to learn mathematics, in my opinion, it could be a little bit biased, but I highly recommend to get the basic background in linear algebra computation, matrix computation, what I mean, and also one variable calculus computation. Those are the key to make everything concrete enough, in my opinion. So,
yes.
so let me just repeat. So even for the like the CS major, in my opinion, even eventually it just can be abstractized in the category theory direction. It
Mm,
looks like the abstract nonsense in some way, but still those are based on the understanding of the computation of those like the elementary one variable calculus and also elementary linear algebraic computations. And I don't want to just pretend to just know everything without doing this in hand. I
yes.
personally like the attitude of students who try to make the papers dirty, try to
Mm-hmm.
work on it, and do
Mm-hmm.
not understand it, that's fine. Eventually, it will click their head sooner or later. But
Mm-hmm.
after they just make the all those like the scratch a little bit like the dirty. That's my kind of the like the way to practice instead of just imagining some like the alien language in
Yes.
your own way. I don't think that's very like useful. All right. So in that sense, so then I think for at least for two, I'd like to proceed like the two different tracks at the same time. One is about the computation. So in that sense, so I want you to proceed the linear algebraic computations from the reference I already mentioned. So just do the computation by your hand. That's one thing. And once I see, so you two are very confident on those computation, then I will just move on to the computation of the single variable calculus. So
Yes.
determine the derivative, determine the antiderivative, and some
Mm-hmm.
just fundamental like the applications of it. Even though you already saw this before, but I want to get you the concrete like the understanding of it. And at the same time, you need to build a mathematical like the abstract like the language by just following the nodes of the like the Ski-Desu series. So then for like the next week. So it just depends on your like the own schedule, but you at least bring one of the outputs by yourself. So what I expect is you should like the upload your note to the like the Discord server. You do not
Mm-hmm.
need to put many of the explanation. You can simply just put the note. And when we meet, then you can just explain what you proceeded and so which part you kind of feel uncomfortable with it and which part you have some questions and that kind of basically thing. Then what I just try to do is rather than just giving the lecture, of course, if I feel it's really like the time to give the lecture, then I can just make the either the record the video and I can give the lecture directly, but it really depends. But mostly I might just avoid to give the lecture. I don't think that's really necessary. But I'll just provide a note and I'll just design the concrete like the problems that you can just think of to just click your like the intuition. But you're like the like the responsible like the you're like the part of the being responsible is so try to just bring something. So you need to be just try to be honest. And if you don't feel I'm not really motivated to learn this like some kind of subject, you can simply just say so. Then we can just discuss and just that's it.
Sounds good.
So any other questions or comments for this
I
orientation?
guess it's not really a question per se, but can we make a different Discord server for English users? It's kind of like
Mm.
confusing for me to like
Mm.
find the servers. I mean, although it says
Uh,
like Kidesu English, but
Let me just put in the so because for in terms of the managing the like
oh, I see.
the members, so it's just for me just not easy. So I will just put in the like the top like the order of this like the server. So I already updated 30 seconds ago, so that you can just look at just that like the server. Yeah, sorry for that. There should be better ways. Eventually, I assume there should be a lot of participants incoming fall. In that sense, in that case, I would just consider to like to make another like the Discord server. But for a moment, yeah, let's try.
I see.
I will try to just minimize the additional like the effort. Yeah, I'm just lazy. Sorry for that.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah.
so, Dr. Joe, I mean, if you don't mind, can you just get back to the square and just can you give me that just a little bit brief kind of like interpretation in your perspective? So, what is eigenvector and then what is the function? I mean, if you don't mind.
So rather than giving you the answer directly back,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
let me try to or even let you imagine what was really going on, those like the mathematical abstractions. So
yes.
the like the people that I admire as a mathematician, of course, I admire
Mm,
lots of the like the great like the
mm.
mathematician who taught me before. But so one of the people I really admire is Bernhard Riemann.
Oh, yes,
So
yes.
so if you just imagine what was
Mm,
really happening in 19th century when he lived. So
yes,
first he invented Riemann integral, right?
yes,
You heard about it,
yes,
Riemann integral, and Riemann is also very famous in geometry, Riemannian
yes,
geometry,
yes.
and Riemann is also very famous in
Z Zeta
Riemann
function.
zeta function. So it's also
Yes.
related to the very big conjecture.
Yeah.
And also Riemann invented complex analysis as well.
Yes.
And if you just search the record of his research, like the papers, he only wrote 5 mathematical papers with five
Yeah.
physics papers. So if you
Yeah.
imagine, so with just a few mathematical papers, why he look at the integration, Riemann integration with the geometry, with the Riemann zeta functions related to complex analysis and number theory. So why all those like the very like the distinct topics emerge in like in on like the research? So it seems like the highly non-trivial to look at the bridge. And by the way, his like the doctoral dissertation was the application of the complex analysis. Nowadays, people call it by the theory of the Riemann surface. Riemann surface is the theory of the
Yes.
application in complex analysis that I'm teaching very actively in like this YouTube channel as well. So it seems a little bit non-trivial. So why he just focus on some of the or each of the topics are highly non-trivial and important enough, but why he look at each of the very like the separate like, the topics at the same time? What was his like the reason? So the reason I'd like to explain is that's my motivation to organize this Gidesu series in a way that I hope undergraduate student can sympathize the mindset of the Riemann. What I mean is that why he first considered to bridge these very separate topics of the mathematics, and at the same time, what was his real motivation to do it? And that was my very first like the motivation to run this YouTube channel almost 6 years ago when I did my own PhD. So because I was very like the big fan of the thinking about so what was really going on beyond this like the just a known like the theory. And this Gidesu series is for many people to really enjoy his perspective. So
Yes.
then those like the definition of the either the eigenvectors or the functions
Mhm.
are currently it's just already modernized like the concepts for sure, but those are already like the hidden in his like the concepts in my opinion. So in order to really digest those types of the abstractions, it takes
Yes.
time. It takes time. But
And
yeah,
one more thing that is his supervisor is Gauss.
yep,
I mean,
yep.
yeah, the king. Yes.
Yeah, that's also important. Like the so yeah, Gauss
Yeah.
was influential to like
Yep.
the student for sure.
Yeah, but unfortunately he died so young, like was like 40s,
Yeah,
right?
he was dead in 38. And his
Late
like the
30s.
student
Yeah.
work was
Yeah.
died in like the 25, but their work
Uh,
are still like the very like the inventory like
yes.
original like the work that still is very like important.
Yes.
Okay, so any other questions or comments for today? We can today just finish a little bit early because yeah, so then just need to work on the topics. Here's a one just a last like the suggestion. For a moment, I will not split this like the study into several pieces. As you already know, the like the GDS like the converse discussion is already split into several like the groups in Korean, but at this point, I don't really think that's really necessary. But if that seems really useful, then I would definitely consider to split several like the teams for sure. So, but here's just a one thing I need to get the confirmation from each of you. So, Gidesu series takes the time seriously. So it
Yes.
might take more than you expected.
Yeah.
Is that really okay with you? So what I mean is that
Yeah.
so I kind of expect around like the at least 2 to 3 years to even around a decade to digest these materials.
Mm.
So because this is
Yeah.
not for the like the or like the unqualified students to just get their own diploma. I don't care. I wanna just take care of the potential students who should eventually get qualified and get trained to become the professional like the scholar. And this really takes the effort and energy. So it that's
Yeah.
just feel I don't care. So because those
I don't mind at all. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. The longer, the better, I think.
Of course, I will not charge you, but yeah, it for
Yeah.
like the period. So what about you, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I was originally thinking like 2 years minimum, like
Mm,
because
cool.
I mean, usually even at qual like school, it takes like
Yeah.
4 years to learn the entire thing, or they
Uh-huh.
call it 4 years, but like
Yeah.
if you minimize it to 2 years.
Sounds good. Yeah, then you already gave your like a word, so yeah, it's now your like your job at this point. So so just a last like the thing to say. So this is what you need to prepare for the next like the meeting next week. So pretend to be the teacher. What I
Mm,
mean is rather than just like equip with the attitude of the student to just listen from the others, you
mm,
should teach the others. What I mean is that try to convince yourself that if you explain this concept in this way, are others really get confidence on your
mm,
explanation. So that try to search, try to look at our references, try to search from GPT or whatsoever, and try to just look at any like the concrete examples if those are useful to convince yourself first of all, and then try to explain in the very like the smooth way, pretending that you are already a professional like the teacher. That's the
yep.
way to study the abstract like a concept in mathematics. And if that
Yes.
doesn't work, that's fine. Just bring it and we can discuss.
Mm,
And
yes.
also do the computation as concrete as possible. Of course, you can use
Mm-hmm.
GPT. You can use R or like the CS like the tools for sure, but you should get the confidence on what you have in your output. So at least you should know whether or not what you're doing is correct or wrong. That matters, right? So any tool can be used, but try to concretize as much as possible in the computation and try to explain as a teacher so that you do not need to just go over all of the note. So even for just a single definition or a single like a proposition or single exercise, if you want to span on it, that's fine. Just a span in with like a quality like the way, and then you can just bring it. That's it.
Okay. Yes.
All right. If there are no other suggestions, then we can just stop the record here.